If you meet somebody from Brussels, what's their nationality?
You got this, you got this.
You got Brussels sprouts.
Can you name any country on this map?
Is it South Africa?
Nope.
We have the country of Asia.
Nope. That's a continent.
What country do you think this is?
IKEA.
What continent is Saudi Arabia in?
Wait, what continent is it in?
Yeah.
What are continents again?
Are Americans actually stupid? Or does the rest of the world just really enjoy believing that we are?
What is Obama's last name?
Obama. Care. Like C-A-R-E.
Obama's last name, the president.
Care.
I am an American who grew up overseas, so I have heard this stereotype my entire life. Every single dumb American joke, including the ones that people made in another language because they assumed I couldn't understand them. So today, I want to break down the 8 reasons that it exists and how much of it is actually earned, as well as explore the real question hiding underneath. How exactly did we get here? Number 1, geographic and global ignorance.
Where exactly is North Korea?
It's in, what, as far as on the map? Up here somewhere?
What's the capital of the United States?
California. There's no capital of the United States.
Any country.
I mean, I
And on the entire map.
know. This is so horrible.
Where's America?
I would say this big one, but I'm probably wrong.
What country is the Amazon rainforest in?
No, it's not. What country? Europe.
Yep, the country?
Europe is the country.
Yeah,
Right?
okay, yeah, I was just making sure.
I would say Africa.
Can you name 3 countries in Africa?
Nigeria. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, that's the one. And the last one also W?
Oh, Wakanda.
Wakanda, yeah. In Central Africa.
I am sure you have seen these kind of clips all over the internet, and they go viral worldwide because they confirm a suspicion that the rest of the world already has.
Africa?
That's a continent.
Oh, God.
That Americans are raised to see the United States as the center of everything, and the other 190-something countries are just background wallpaper, if you will. And I think what really drives the rest of the world nuts here is the massive asymmetry, because a teenager in Jakarta can name the US president, explain the difference between Democrats and Republicans, and tell you why an American election matters to their own economy, while 41% of Americans couldn't even name their own vice president, let alone the Chancellor of Germany. They can cite off every single Kardashian, but not tell you a single sitting Supreme Court justice. But we'll circle back to that. Now, in defense of Americans, there are a few factors at play here. The first of which being geography. The US sits between 2 oceans, isolated from Europe, Africa, and Asia, thanks to a heaping pile of gigawater. Your average American can't just drop a few $1,000s to go country hopping across the continent, compared to, say, a kid in Belgium who can sneeze and end up in 3 different countries before lunch. Geography is a lot easier when you can hop on a train and visit a neighboring country for the cost of a sandwich, when your entire country is smaller than one of our states. Seriously, you could drop France, Germany, and the UK into Alaska and still have room to plop Italy in next to them. And second, American ignorance about the rest of the world is largely by design. See, a population that doesn't know how the rest of the world lives is a population that doesn't know what it's missing. If you've never seen that other countries have healthcare without bankruptcy, paid vacation measured in weeks or months, and college that doesn't cost you a house, then you'll never demand it. American ignorance of the outside world is extremely useful to those who benefit from said ignorance. Number 2, loud overconfidence. This is probably what the world notices most, and thus it's the biggest driver of the American idiot stereotype. Look, everyone has knowledge gaps, and that's okay. But the American specialty is combining ignorance with certainty, loudly blurting out bullshit like we're the Dunning-Kruger incarnate. It is the verbal equivalent of a man who farts with the confidence of someone who has never before shit their pants. It's the guy who has never left Utah explaining what Europe is like to an actual European, or the tourist who walks into a bouchon in Lyon or a trattoria in Rome and asks where the real food is while searching for McDonald's, or the loud American in Paris who, when encountering someone who doesn't speak English for the first time in their adult life, simply repeats the English words slower and louder as if sheer volume will magically install subtitles directly into the listener's brain. Now, before Europeans laugh too hard, have you met British tourists in Spain? Or have you seen a shit-faced Australian having a stag do in Bali? Or had to elbow your way through a busload of Chinese tourists in Thailand, the nightmare tourist is a universal species. And while I genuinely can't defend this one, there is a reason why Americans don't learn other languages, and it's the exact same reason that the Brits and the Aussies don't. English won. It's the language of business, science, aviation, and the internet. When the entire world is busy learning your language, the incentive to learn theirs kind of evaporates. It's more convenience than stupidity. And on top of that, high school and college language classes in the US suck. Seriously, verb conjugation tables? Kill me now. Useless fill-in-the-blank homework exercises, and apps barking at you to translate ridiculous phrases for the 100th time, which no human since Mitch McConnell has ever said out loud before.
La chouette verte suce des couilles.
That is how you get people who studied 4 years of Spanish and can only ask you where the library is.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Nobody absorbs a language that way. Real humans acquire languages the way a kid does, by hearing it in context, in stories, in shows you actually want to watch. Which is why I recommend today's sponsor, LingoPie. See, instead of treating language like homework, LingoPie lets you learn by watching real TV shows and movies from the countries where it's actually spoken. So you're not memorizing how some textbook writing nerd thinks that people speak, you're hearing how they actually talk, slang and all. And the moment that you don't recognize a word, you just tap it, you get instant translation, and LingoPie auto-saves it for later review. There's an AI coach that explains tricky grammar in context, and a pronunciation tool that listens to you speak and gives you feedback, so you don't end up accidentally loudly ordering a horse when you meant to ask for the bill. They've got over 3,000 shows and movies across 14 different languages, and it works on your laptop, phone, and smart TV. I actually bought their lifetime subscription well before they offered to sponsor the channel, so I'm pretty confident that you are gonna love it too. So, if you want to go from this, lavache et sur la table, to this,
Tu es dangereuse parce que tu rends toutes les autres femmes invisibles.
then click the link below to get a 7-day free trial plus 55% off their annual plan. Number 3. Religious fundamentalism. This is something that still dumbfounds me about my country. We have NASA and Answers in Genesis in the same nation. We can land a probe on a moving comet, and we also fund a museum that teaches children that humans rode dinosaurs like ponies. From the outside, American religious fundamentalism makes the entire country look medieval. Creationists fight to teach bullshit in classrooms. Televangelists with private jets run faith-healing cons and bilk millions of people, sometimes out of their entire life savings. Politicians announce that their policy ideas were handed to them personally by God, which is a bold move appealing to Jesus when the policy is about gutting food stamps to subsidize tax breaks for billionaires. Now, before any foreigners get too smug, this is not an American invention. Jesus Christ, have you seen Israel? Brazil is home to the Universal Church, one of the wealthiest faith-healing operations on Earth. Across Africa, filthy rich prosperity preachers fill stadiums and fly private jets while their congregants starve. The Philippines has psychic surgeons who pull tumors out of you in a sleight-of-hand scam where they palm a handful of chicken guts. The UK and Australia are stuffed with ghost believers, spiritualists, and psychic nonsense. France, while pretending to be rational, basically ran on homeopathy for years, which Germany invented. And astrology is basically a global religion at this point. Pseudoscience and paranormal or supernatural woo are basically universal. We just have the budget and the broadcast power to make ours impossible to miss. And it is so easy to laugh at and feel kind of smug in the process. Hell, some of my most successful videos on this channel are about psychic cringe fails or faith healing fails. Seriously, go check out those after this. You will not regret it. But there's a slightly more serious side that I want to focus on for just 1 second. Think about what hardcore fundamentalism actually trains people to do. It teaches you that doubt is a sin, that questioning authority is dangerous, that faith, belief without evidence, is the highest virtue, and that skepticism is the work of the enemy. It teaches you to accept answers from authority and to feel guilty for ever wanting proof. But what if we instead ask this uncomfortable question? Who benefits from a population trained from childhood to distrust its own questions and obey anyone claiming special authority? It isn't God. If he or she does exist, I'm pretty sure they're doing just fine. The beneficiaries are the people who need you to stop asking, to blindly follow, blindly give them your vote, or blindly fill the offering plate. A mind taught never to doubt the preacher is a mind that will never doubt the politician, the boss, the billionaire savior, or the cable news hosts that they own. Anti-intellectualism isn't a side effect of fundamentalism. For some people, It is deliberate strategy. Number 4, science denial, conspiracies, and the war on expertise. The US by no means invented science denial, but we sure as hell perfected it. We mass produce it with terrifying efficiency and then export it to the world. Anti-vax content, climate denial, flat earth nonsense, a bottomless supply of wellness grifters selling you anti-aging supplements, cancer cures, gluten-free water, and jade rocks for your mom's vagina.
And I get my own stem cells from my own urine. I've been doing urine therapy for years as well.
You don't just drink it.
I just pee it in a mason jar and I drink it. Most of my decision making is intuitive.
Why don't you eat your shit? I'm pissing out the toxins that I brought in. Why would now that go back in? And if the case were true, why wouldn't our dicks be longer so we could just drink it out of the hose?
That's a great fucking question.
Because maybe you shouldn't be drinking your piss.
I think what stings most is that the United States launched the computer revolution. We lead the world in AI. We split the atom. We put man on the freaking moon. And yet, a meaningful chunk of this same great nation has doubts about the shape of the Earth. Again, not unique to America. Jesus Christ, some of the conspiracy theories that I have had Uber drivers rant off to me in England and France are freaking nuts. But Americans seem to have somehow weaponized the seemingly positive phrase, do your own research. On its face, that sounds great. Think for yourself. Question things. I'm a skeptic. I freaking love that. But watch how it actually gets used. Do your own research rarely means read and understand the studies. It means distrust every single expert who spent 30 plus years learning the thing, and instead trust some guy on YouTube with a ring light and a supplement discount code. See, experts are inconvenient. A climate scientist is inconvenient to an oil company. A virologist or epidemiologist is inconvenient to someone selling you miracle cures. A historian is inconvenient to a politician rewriting the past. If you can convince an entire population that all expertise is just elitist opinion, that every credential is some kind of conspiracy, you've performed genuine stage magic. You have made people impossible to inform, and a population that can't be informed can't be warned. They will cheer for the very thing that is hurting them, because the only people who could actually explain what's happening have already been labeled as liars. The war on expertise is very much a hostile takeover of reality, which is wildly profitable. Number 5, Imperial measurements. Okay, this one is kind of low-hanging fruit, but I am picking it anyways because it is just beautifully absurd. America uses ounces and pounds and conflicting types of tons. We use gallons and a temperature scale that's not particularly pegged to anything. For distances, we use inches, feet, yards, and miles. The entire thing is so weird and arbitrary that it feels like it was designed by a slightly drunk wizard who was trying to measure a giraffe. Meanwhile, most of the planet uses metric, which is logical, scalable, and built on powers of 10. It is clean, and it makes perfect logical sense. When you point this out, the American defense of Fahrenheit is always the same. Well, 100 feels hot, and 0 feels cold, even though it is completely arbitrary, and 0 is 32 degrees below freezing. We put humans on the moon, came home, and measured the achievement in yards, or the distance from the tip of King Henry I's nose to his outstretched thumb. But to all of you smug Brits watching, you are not on the metric system either, are you? You still drive in miles, you still order pints, you buy fuel in liters, but you measure your own body in stone, which is based off of a rock? So before you dunk on us, maybe finish switching your own country over first. Glass houses, lads. Number 6, celebrity worship and manufactured distraction. I have to physically constrain myself on this one because it makes me genuinely want to deep throat a shotgun. But in the words of Enlightenment poet Slim Shady, hold your nose because here goes the cold water. Somehow Americans can recite the entire Kardashian family tree, rank every season of Jersey Shore by drama level, and tell you the exact contract details of their favorite quarterback, but you ask the same person to name their own vice president, find Iran on a map, or split a dinner bill 3 ways without using their phone, and crickets. We have tabloids at every single checkout counter. We've turned watching strangers fight in a hot tub into a national pastime. We literally elected a scum of the earth kitty fiddling reality TV star billionaire serial felon con artist twice, and our politics is now indistinguishable from celebrity gossip, complete with feuds, merch drops, and season finales. Now, the lazy take here is Americans are shallow, but that's not it. See, distraction is a product. It is manufactured on purpose at industrial scale, and it is sold to you for the price of your attention. The Romans figured this out 2,000 years ago. Bread and circuses. Keep the population fed just enough and entertained constantly, and they will never notice who is robbing them. All we did was upgrade the circus. Now it is an algorithm in your pocket, engineered by the smartest people of a generation, whose entire job it is to keep you scrolling, outraged, and emotionally invested in the lives of people who do not give a shit about you or even know that you exist. Because a population glued to celebrity drama is a population not reading the bill that just passed, which took their rights away. A population doom-scrolling sports trades and reality show feuds is not organizing, protesting, unionizing, or asking why the rent just doubled. The distraction is a feature, not a bug. It's the most successful product American culture has ever built, and it is running exactly as designed. And again, this one isn't unique to America either, to be fair. The whole world is on the same phones now. But we did build the machine and export it. And billionaires and nefarious politicians around the world are watching and taking notes. Number 7. Gun culture and manufactured fear. To most of the developed world, American gun culture is fucking insane. And it is. School shootings on a recurring basis, children running active shooter drills, bulletproof backpacks on the back-to-school shelf, politicians wearing little AR-15 pins like a second flag, and arming the algebra teacher like the math department is about to ship out to Fallujah. Now, I'm not going to pretend here like every country has an identical version of this, because they don't. Well, except for maybe Somalia or something. This one is more of a distinctly us problem, and I won't insult you by both sidesing it. But let's look at the engine underneath this, because it's the same engine running everything else that I have already mentioned. Fear is the most profitable emotion there is. A frightened person buys a gun, then a second gun, then the home security system, the supplements, the gold coins, the Jim Baker emergency food buckets. They deck out their doomsday prepper bunkers. They vote for the politician who promises to protect them from the monster of the week. Fear sells. Fear wins elections. Fear shuts off the thinking part of your brain like that. And just watch where this fear inevitably gets targeted. Never up. Never towards the people at the top who are rigging the game and stripping away your benefits and your rights. Always sideways and down. I don't want to paint the left like there's some blameless angels here, but in this area in particular, right-wing politicians are particularly nefarious. And they're all running the same playbook. Blame the immigrant. Blame the minority. Blame anyone poorer and more vulnerable than you. Gay people, trans people, unions, the teenager who just got an abortion, the black woman on food stamps, while the people who are actually emptying your pockets, who receive billions in tax subsidies, sit comfortably at the top watching us squabble. And when I say that this playbook is being used everywhere, I mean everywhere. I was in Warsaw during their Independence Day, and it has basically become an anti-immigrant Nazi rally at this point.
Sao Paulo shuts down its main avenue every Sunday and has a far-right march.
Even South Africans are rioting and are being whipped up into a xenophobic panic against immigrants. And even the people in the comments under these videos don't seem to realize who is actually benefiting from this distraction. A scared population is a controllable population. It is one that doesn't organize, unionize, or fight back because it is too busy arguing about bathrooms, drag queens, wedding cakes, a migrant caravan that's perpetually 2 weeks away, woke candy, red Starbucks cups, or whatever the latest panic of the week is, beaten like a piñata until the next one shows up. It is a population that will shut off its brain, hand over its rights, and hand over its money to the very people who are stoking the fears, keeping them paralyzed. Number 8, defunding education and keeping people stupid but useful. If we put all of this together and add it up, we get a population that doesn't know how the rest of the world lives, that has been trained to distrust its own questions, a population that treats expertise as elitism, but views confident ignorance as truth, a population which is drowning in distraction and steered by manufactured fear. These are not unrelated problems. The people who actually own this country do not want a population capable of critical thinking. Critical thinkers are a threat. They sit around the kitchen table and start doing the math on how badly they're getting screwed. Those at the top want obedient workers, people just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to quietly accept it. George Carlin said this cleaner than I ever could.
They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club and you ain't in it.
Just before the last election, I put out a video warning about Project 2025, the 900-page document published by the Heritage Foundation outlining the GOP's plan. The very first sentence of its chapter on education says that the federal Department of Education should be eliminated. Not reformed, eliminated. It calls for a phasing out of the funding that flows to schools in poor neighborhoods. It targets Head Start, the program that feeds and teaches the youngest, poorest kids in the country. And this isn't some hypothetical boogeyman. Since Trump came to office, the department has been getting dismantled in real time. Its functions have been shipped off to other agencies, with the president openly saying that he wants his education secretary to put herself out of a job. Killing it outright still takes an act of Congress, but the intent could not be louder. Now, connect that last wire. Why would anyone want to gut public education in the richest country on earth? Why defund the one institution whose entire job is to make citizens harder to fool? Well, an educated populace is the single greatest threat to people who profit from your ignorance. A kid who learns history can recognize a con that she's seen before. A kid who learns science can smell a grift. A student who learns to read critically can read a congressional bill and see exactly whose hand is in his pocket. That kid grows into the precise adult that the political architects are afraid of. They want you stupid because it's profitable. Just smart enough to run the machine, too distracted, too scared, and too uninformed to ever question who built it. I think that there was a time when the rest of the world watched cringy videos of Americans saying or doing dumb things and they just laughed, and that was it.
Congratulations, Canada, on legalizing staplers.
But I don't think that they find it as funny anymore. They're watching the wealthiest, most powerful nation on earth get absolutely gutted. And honestly, it scares them, because if it can happen to America, it can happen anywhere. All right, deep breath, because I refuse to end this video on such a depressingly negative note, with you feeling hopeless or perhaps just a little superior. That feeling is a trap too. All of that keeps you scrolling and doing absolutely nothing. So here's the truth that nobody is selling because there's no money in it. But it is the most important lesson that I have ever learned, and I discovered it entirely too late in life. Intelligence is not fixed. It is not a number that you're stamped with from birth. Your brain isn't a fixed size container. It is a muscle, and it grows with use at any age for anyone who is willing to put in the reps. Every single thing that you do not understand right now is something that you are one decision and just a little bit of honest effort away from understanding. The more you push and stretch your brain just a little bit every single day, the easier it gets and the faster you learn. But I'm not talking about doing dumb little Sudoku puzzles. I'm saying actually go out and learn useful skills, learn how the world works, and learn how to think critically. When I was 17, my science education was less than worthless. And I swear I felt like the dumbest person in every single room that I set foot in. And now I'm running my own business. I'm interviewing some of the smartest people in the world. I'm speaking internationally at public conferences and creating videos on everything from astrophysics to archaeology to biochemistry. This is the genuinely exciting part. The greatest library in human history is in your pocket right now, or in your hand if you're watching this video on your phone. The exact same device that has been feeding you outrage and reality drama can teach you economics, history, a new language, using LingoPie, of course. You can learn how your own government actually works and how to spot a scam while it is happening to you. You can watch entire semesters of college courses from Harvard or Yale for free on YouTube right now. YouTube doesn't care which one you pick. The algorithm will happily feed you nourishment instead of junk. You just have to choose it on purpose. Think of it like food. Doom scrolling is empty calories, it kills time, but it leaves you weaker than when it found you, craving the next dopamine hit. But you are allowed to change your diet. Not what to think, how to think. Curiosity over certainty, questions over outrage. The slow, unglamorous, deeply satisfying work of becoming a person who is very, very hard to fool. And that is one thing that those pulling the strings can't stand. A curious, informed, critical thinking public is the exact thing that this entire machine was built to prevent. So become that person deliberately. It is the most quietly rebellious thing you can possibly do. Let's stop being American idiots and take our country back. If you're not sure where to start, I have a massive catalog of educational content here on my channel. So seriously, smash the subscribe button and turn on all notifications if you want to come along for the ride. I recommend starting with this educational playlist right here. Thank you guys so much for your ongoing support. And as always, dare to be curious, but don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Your wife or girlfriend does not care that you're drinking pee, or you hide that from her?
Well, my former partner, I've been celibate for the last 3 years.
What? No way.